Yangu ni mawili. The last time we were here, you were all aspirants. Now you are candidates. We even had our own internal NASA primaries. Don't misunderstand or misrepresent that NASA did not have its own primaries. We did, as a party or as a coalition. Hata ukiangalia Democrats, ukiangalia Republicans, when they are having these primaries, a lot of things are said against one another or at each other. But once the primaries are over, the dust must settle. It was Wiper's desire to have Kalonzo Musyoka as NASA's flag bearer. We went into contest with other 5 parties. He might not have been the flag bearer, but he definitely is a flag bearer for this party and this country. So therefore, any of us who is part of NASA must feel ownership of Raila Odinga as NASA presidential candidate in the same manner that you feel ownership of Kalonzo Musyoka. It defeats logic for you to pretend or to say that you support Kalonzo Musyoka without supporting Raila Odinga. A victory for Raila Odinga is a victory for Kalonzo Musyoka and the whole of Kenya. And I know and appreciate the wisdom that went into this whole process. Now the dust must settle. We are now one family. An attack on NASA is an attack on all of us. An attack on Raila Odinga, an attack on Mudavadi, an attack on Wetangula, an attack on Isaac Ruto is an attack on the entire NASA fraternity. So therefore, prepare yourselves for battle. This election was never about Wiper or Kalonzo Musyoka. It was about Kenya. I remember when the presidential candidate or aspirant, Bernie Sanders, lost or in the primaries to Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders said he does not want to be in that moment of history that handed over Donald Trump the victory. And therefore he became part of that coalition. If any of you is part of that history that hands over presidency to Jubilee, history and the future generations will never forgive you. So it is up to you, wherever you stand, wherever you are, to ensure that this election is about the battle for the heart and soul of this republic. If we lose, or purportedly these guys are allowed to steal this election, Kenya will not recover for the next 50 years. That's the high stakes. We gave them 5 years, and look at the destruction they have caused this nation. An extra 5 years will lead to the perishment of this country. So stand to be counted or perish forever. If you want your future generations to celebrate you, you must make sure that NASA takes over government on the 8th of August 2017. And I wanted to say one thing. We did front our party leader for the presidential candidate. He's a diplomat. He's a negotiator. I am one person who fell deeply in love with him in my 3-4 years I've been party secretary general. You know, there is an English saying that there are people you love better when you're away from them, and there are people that you love better when you are closer to them. Many of those characteristics about his kindness, his magnanimity, I found them firsthand when I have been Secretary General. And I respect their decision as NASA principals to appoint a first among equals, Raila Odinga, to become president of Kenya for 5 years as a transitional and transformative president. And let yourselves not fall to the Jubilee propaganda. Whatever propaganda you hear from Jubilee, Raila is an excellent improvement from what we have in Uhuru and Ruto. So don't yourselves be put down ati huivi, ati vile. we said and committed to this nation that whoever shall be presidential candidate of NASA, we shall support that person with all our heart. We must put in all our efforts to make sure that NASA takes government. When the party leader sent Governor Mweke, Senator Junior and myself to Raila Odinga to tell him that we appreciate he's a good man, that everything that appeared, the hostilities that exchanged amongst the lieutenants, was not a reflection of the party position, but a reflection of democratic growth within our parties. And now that he is our candidate, we shall fight tooth and nail. We shall give our last breath to ensure that we remove Jubilee and allow a Raila Kalonzo presidency in 2017. We shall own him collectively. And I can tell you this, as a person who's also equally interacted closely with Raila, he is a good man. He shares the ideals of this party. He's a stalwart for social democracy. He's a diplomat and has fought for this country more than Uhuru and Ruto could ever imagine. And therefore, this will be his crowning moment. We owe it to him as a party and as a nation to ensure that we make him president and for the 5 years so that he can lead this country and honor his commitment to hand over to the president of WIPA, His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So therefore, get out there and know that your president is Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. Get there and know that ODM is not your enemy. Neither is ANC, neither is Ford Kenya, neither is Mashinani. Your enemies or your adversaries are in Jubilee. Do you not, and Chap Chap, do not, and its affiliates, do not throw unnecessary barbs at your friends. Do not hurt them. You must distinguish yourselves as WIPA candidates with distinction. When at the face of adversity, remembers the values that WIPA stand for. Say you are WIPA because you are different from them. And therefore, when you go out there, please articulate that we are fundamentally different as a party that believes in the tenets of social democracy. None of us here are looters of public wealth. We simply want to take power so that we can redistribute public wealth in a manner that is fair and just to everybody. That is the essence of social democracy. Those who are going to become governors under the WIPA democratic movement demonstrate what the objects of devolution was about. A people-centered government that champions for social democracy and the rights of those who are most disenfranchised of us. You are not elected governors to be unloads onto others. You are elected governors to be facilitators of progress for those who are most disenfranchised and most marginalized of us. So therefore, wherever you are, represent WIPA. Don't let a campaign Matusi. Make sure that you are distinct because of your campaign of issues. Borrow from the party's manifesto. Borrow from the manifesto of NASA. Become one family. Become one team. In Mombasa, I have learned to love and live with my aspirants or candidates. And I want every other governor and every other person in all these other parties and all these other counties to be able to take up and live with their candidates so that we secure collective victory. And even this today, party leader, allow me to send a message to Jubilee. We are not your enemies. Those of you who support Jubilee, we simply have a better vision for a country that you shall be included in. We are not seeking to replace one ethnic state with another ethnic state. We are seeking to ensure that we include everybody, you in Jubilee and those in NASA, to create a Kenya for all of us. So open your hearts, listen to our vision, and not the dictates of your tribes. If any Jubilee person listens to what NASA is saying, about mitigating the adverse impact on the economy, about building an inclusive state, they have really absolutely no reason to vote for Jubilee. And therefore some of you, appeal to their hearts and their minds, because most of us are still in the straitjackets of ethnicity. Even those of you in Ukambani and other areas that are NASA strongholds, make a case as to why you must be elected. Don't expect just because they support Kalonzo Musyoka to vote you in. Give them a reason to vote you in. So Governor Malombe, Senator Junior, Governor Wavinya, and the rest of them, show them that you have a greater and better vision for those counties and for Kenya. So therefore, make sure by the time you come in, it is not based on emotion, but it's based on a realistic promise for this country. I shall end there, but I shall mention one thing. Wherever Senator Mudhama is, he should know we still love him as a party. I personally say this with a heavy heart. When I came into politics and into the Senate, Senator Mudhama is one of those who nurtured me. It cannot be that our little disagreements sets us up for a bruising battle. Wiper is not out to bruise with you. Wiper is out to work with you. Wiper and us, we share a common cause. And I know you are still Wiper wherever you are. So therefore, he is neither Judas, nor a mole, nor anything. He is simply Senator Mudhama. And we ask you, Senator, that this race, 90 days coming, shall be lonely without you. We have the confidence to say that. I have made this appeal to you in private and I'm making it to you in public. And I ask that whatever it is, let us come and work together. You said you will campaign for Raila Odinga, tooth and nail. You cannot campaign for Raila Odinga without campaigning for Kalonzo Musyoka. It is a contradiction. It is a contradiction. Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka are tied to the hip. You cannot campaign for one without the other. So we are asking you, there is now bruising battle anywhere in Ukambani amongst the NASA family. The only bruising battle we have is against NASA and the decay of ethnicity, malice, hatred and division of Uhuru Kenyatta in the last 5 years. So points of departure cannot be basis for enmity. If you think that we are bad, which I believe you don't, the other side is worse. So therefore, this is your moment in history to be part of us. And that's why I'm asking you, wherever you are, Senator, we're asking you, Wiper is your family. You are a founder, you are an integral member. We respect you, we love you, and we are willing to have you as our senator candidate in Machakos. And this is a message to all of you. Learn not to fight your allies. Learn not to fight your allies. Leo, if you disagree with Nyenze, don't throw barbs at him. Nyenze has been an extraordinary member of the Wiper family. If you disagree with him on one issue, don't become a lynch mob in the social media. You must pick your wars, you must pick your battles. Wiper is stronger with Nyenze. Wiper is stronger with Mudhama. Wiper is stronger with all of us, and we must be able to ensure that everybody is on board. And that's why I finally make this appeal to all those who are aspirants in the Wiper Democratic Movement. In Mombasa, I'm willing to embrace all of you. And Wiper as a party, we are willing to embrace all of you. Because I believe our cause is just. And with all of you in the party, aspirants, those who won and those who did not win. Because not winning is not the end of life. It is the beginning of the challenge. So I'm asking you, go and support your MCA. Go and support your member of National Assembly. Go and support your woman rep. Go and support your governor. Go and support your senator. And go and support your president. These people, with magnanimity, they shall ensure that there is inclusivity in their government. And for every effort that anybody makes towards Wiper, we shall reciprocate with whatever else that is available in government. So our aspirants are not our enemies. You might have your misgivings, but just because you did not win cannot make the entire process flawed. So we're asking you that none of you here should go out and unnecessarily fight for Wiper aspirants. And our Wiper aspirants out there, don't work in a counterproductive way to bring down the party. This party is a party on the flight to growth. This party will be so important, especially if we make government. Why am I saying that? If we are government, it doesn't mean we will approve everything the executive says. Those of you who are in parliament must hold the executive to check. Those of you who are going to be county assembly members, you must hold your governors to check so that you improve the governance creed of this nation. We are not asking you to be rubber stamps of this party. That's what this party stands for. Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga can make error, and therefore some of us will be there to guide them. So the better the candidate you elect, the more likely we will have a perfect democracy so that we can guide the leadership that we put into office. And ultimately, I say this because I come from a minority. When you look at me, I don't look Kamba. I don't look Luo. I don't look Luya. Nor do I look Kipsigis. Because we are here as an affirmation that NASA is not about a Kamba government, or a Luo government, or a Luya government, or a Kalenjin government. NASA is about a government for all of us, being side by side as Kenyans. Kwa hivyo, I'll be looking forward to you, members of Wiper, to demonstrate that we are different in the next elections. You have taken a pledge. Please do not unleash violence onto others. Love your neighbor. Love your opponents. Your contest is about ideas. It is not about physical injury. For those many words, and I wanted to say one thing, I keep saying one thing. I wish that we also give decorum and respect to our women candidates. If you had a woman candidate, Wiper would rather pay the price of not having a representative there than allow a person who has no regard or respect for the women gender. It must be made easy for our women to compete alongside us. And when we nominate them, we hope also they will give their best. But there will be no special treatment, but definitely there will be affirmative action. There's a difference between special treatment and affirmative action to ensure that Wiper meets the demand of the Constitution. We are not looking for a government of 1/3. We are looking for a government of 50-50 with the women so that we empower the women to victory.